want to thank all of you for being here to give up a Tuesday night. Is Desperate Housewives on tonight? Oh, no. Okay, so it's not a big sacrifice. To come and join us as we embark on a really, I think, a wonderful ride, a ride that this community has been wanting to take for quite a while. We've been absent, I would say not leadership, but the right kind of leadership for a long time, and I propose to be your next assembly candidate in the 43rd District. Thank you, April 13th is the election. It is a special election, so we'll get the tough, rusty nail section out of the way. April 13th, meaning that because the seat has been vacated by the previous assembly member, the governor called a special election, I think about 2.5 weeks ago, calling it for April 13th. If I receive 50% plus one vote, 50% plus one vote, the next assembly member on April 13th. Should I not get 50% plus one, then we go to a June 8th runoff for the special. Now this is important because you have to keep saying the word special. April 13th, win it all. If not, the top 2 vote getters go to June 8th for the special. June 8th also happens to be the date of the primary. The person that had this office, should they have not left and gone to LA City Council, they would have faced a primary in June 8th anyway. So there is a second election on June 8th, which is the primary, where R's and D's vie for the winning vote on each side, and then they go to November 2nd for the general election, which would have been there. So June 8th and November 2nd were always in play. It's now we added April 13th and June 8th. And I'm not going to say June 8th for the special runoff again, because we're doing this on April 13th. It's an easy formula. This district used to have some conservative thinking. And I say conservative in a very mild way. I don't want people to get in this notion that Republican and conservative jump off the cliff here. We're talking about all the values that we all hold dear. All the values that we as parents with kids, all those that give to a community, what do we hold dear? It is the same thing, folks. It is Little League on the weekends. It is church on Sundays. It is making sure our schools are safe and provide an education. Our streets are kept safe, and our communities are a place that we want to have friends and neighbors be able to walk freely through. That's what we're talking about. Anything more than that, if you want to go save some owls in the Northwest somewhere on some tree, you're looking at the wrong candidate. That is not our mission. What we're all worried about right now are the future for our kids. What we've done to this state for our children. I'm scared of my daughter when she goes off to college next year for her to come back to California. As selfish as a dad can be that wants my daughter back, I'm scared to tell her to come back. I don't believe there'll be opportunity at the road we're taking. So let's talk about, I think, 4 key points that we'd like to focus on. The secret is out, and it hasn't been a secret for those of us that have a business. I look at Brendan Turner, and we share a lot of sob stories about what it is to be a business owner in California. We are overregulated. Every turn you have regulations that are strangling those that want to have a creative spirit, those that want to be the job creators. Small business is the job creator in America, small business is the job creator in California and in the local areas. We need to get out of the way of those people that have entrepreneurial dreams, those that want to be their own bosses and give good jobs in our local communities. We need to get the burdens out of the way. The regulatory burden is choking the lifeblood of California. Well, that leads right to the next part of the equation. Unemployment in California is, I think, 2 to 3 points higher than it is in the rest of the country. And the reason for that is when you over-regulate business, then you cause a lot of businesses to go out of business, which means employees are shed right alongside of it. I'm not making this stuff up. Go down Glen Oaks, go down Hollywood Way, Magnolia, Burbank, Brand Boulevard Central, Glendale, Verdugo, Foothill Boulevard, and what you'll see is every second, third, fourth business has a for sale, for lease, or gone out of business sign. This is a tragedy because as a former Chamber of Commerce president here in Burbank, I didn't help the big businesses. I couldn't. They're way too big and they have all the resources they need. People always equate Chamber of Commerce with somebody, some greater good, like we're part of the Defense Department. Big businesses have more people doing all these things. But small business, we wear all the hats. We have to be good at banking, we have to be good at human resources, we have to be good at payroll, we have to be good at labor laws, we have to be good at managing, hiring, we have to be good at office supplies, we have to be able to jump on the forklift when we need to. This is what we do. We get in there at about 5, 6 in the morning, open up the doors, set up your shingle for work, and then we, at 7, 8 o'clock at night, pack up everything so you can do work at home after the last person's long gone from your place. This is the dream that we see being squashed by the regulation, which subsequently is the jobs that we're losing. 25 years of paying attention to this. California needs to pass a budget on time. It's due at the out of the governor's office by June 30th. But when we don't pass a budget on time and you create this level of uncertainty, and here's the uncertainty. School districts have to have their budget in by March 31st. Cities have to have their budgets in order, but they're all betting on what the state's going to provide them. We send money up to Sacramento, and we're not sure how much of it's going to come back, if any, and then how much more they'll dig down deep into these coffers, which are our potholes, our sidewalk repair, our trash service, our public safety, are all on the beck and call of these people that can't pass a budget on time. We've got to change that mantra. And there's 5 or 6 people sitting in an office passing the budget while the rest of the assembly members are sitting outside waiting for the call to come in and push a button, yes or no. I don't know how that works in any business, and it certainly hasn't worked for Sacramento. And if anyone thinks that's the right way to go, then once again, I'm the wrong guy for the job. The last thing is education. The unique experience I think I bring to this position, I've been part of and have started many of the educational foundations. Here in Burbank, it's a group called BPI, Burbank Priority in Education. In Glendale, it's the Glendale Educational Foundation. In Lackawanna, it's the Lackawanna Education Foundation. We served on all these. And Burbank Ed Foundation was stalwart in here long before we started BPI. What does that give you as an advantage? It gives me time to work side by side with parents. I didn't bring up these value sets because I dreamt them. I didn't read about them. I worked alongside all of you trying to make our schools better. I walked both bond issues for the rebuilding of our schools here in Burbank. And I walked in Glendale for the one. Glendale learned from Burbank's mistake when they had to do it twice. But we walked the streets in and out. I walked for the police and fire building on that bond issue. And you listen to the neighbors. You listen to the people exactly what it is they want. And education is no different. Parents know their children better than anybody else. And the second best parents, the surrogate parents, are the teachers. So why wouldn't we want to not give them the resources to parent our child and educate our child? Why wouldn't we want to let somebody from Sacramento inundate the system with mandates? You walk a day in the life of a teacher, and there are so many mandated programs. And I used the number the other day, and somebody in Burbank parent said I was wrong. Burbank is an 84-16 mix between teaching staff and administration, but that's great for Burbank. Other cities that have a different mix and demographic mix get to be a 60-40, 60 faculty, 40 administration. And a hyper blend, you got cities and communities that are very diverse. Burbank is fortunate that it doesn't have a lot of those needs. But then again, the way the state funds it, you don't have needs, you don't get any money. So we need to change some of the system, bring the resources down to the local level. The creating jobs, I'm looking at job creators right here. And I look at people that when they lose jobs, when they have to shed jobs, these aren't 1,200 jobs in Visalia from a remote penthouse in Century City. These are people that we know when we have to downsize, it is the last thing we do. And these are names, these are primary paychecks in these households that we provide. Small business does not shed jobs easily. They're forced to. They're bludgeoned over the head and forced to. We need somebody up there that's looking out of all those people that will have the next dream, the next idea that they want to open up a business, and the people that are going to employ our children. You look, folks, in my 25 years of working in and around all of you, I'm watching the young people and looking at where they're getting jobs. My daughter has struggled to find a job, and in her senior year still babysitting. And babysitting at least gives her some responsibility, but at some point they need to learn how to punch a time clock, be responsible and accountable to somebody else. And those jobs aren't here. And if you don't get Main Street USA, which is exactly what we are, back and thriving, get regulatory burden out of the way, we're never going to see the end of this. So that's the simple mantra. We're going to go after a few things. There's a lot of other issues people want to talk about, issues that aren't keeping all of us up at night. I keep saying over and over, whatever's kept you up at night the last 2 weeks, that's what's keeping all of us up at night too. You're no different. There's a very small group that have other things keeping themselves up at night, and I'll tell you what, it has nothing to do with getting our state back on the road to recovery. So we need to be mindful of where it is we need to go and what we need to keep our eye on, not all the fluff issues. We've got simple things. Break down the common barriers that made California great once. We're going to bring it back.